Housewives of Baltimore. Welcome to the Housewives of Baltimore radio. I'm so excited today. Let's start off with our guest, our special guest host. Let's go down the list, and then we'll introduce our special guest for today. Let me do it. Let me do it for you. All right, so we're going to introduce Kanae. I call her the Chinese lady. 4K Catering is in the building today, ladies. Yes. And then we have Alvin Gray. Alvin Gray, film director. Great friend of mine, as well as just a great film director. Hi.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to wait yet. But just...
And for our special guest today, we have a king of urban literature. What? Shannon Holmes, everybody. Shannon Holmes.
Hey.
Yeah.
Who my homegirl over there didn't believe, you know what I'm saying? She's constantly doubting. She was like, I saw your book on Amazon. I was like, that's nothing. She was like, she read the book. She was like, you didn't write this. I said, why didn't I?
Wow.
I gotta keep proving myself to her, man. I just feel like, you know what I'm saying? So
urban
I gotta
legend.
keep stepping my game up.
Baltimore classic in Baltimore. And tomorrow.
Very much.
Everybody thought I was from Baltimore at first, though. Yeah, actually.
So let's get the backstory. We want to know the beginning of Be More Lifestyle. Can I make? I just want to say one thing about Be More Careful. I just want to say, I just want to throw that out there. This is, whenever you walk in Baltimore, you ask someone, ages millennials and Generation X. We've read this book. That's why I put on Facebook the other day. We've all read the book. Now let's meet the author. So start from the beginning, how it started, and just what it's done in Baltimore.
Okay. Well, it started even before I was writing. I got like this really good memory. So I was actually coming home from prison in Baltimore. I think I was in for a parole violation or something. I was coming from Patuxent. And you know, you're not normally when you go home, you're not the only person going home that particular day. So I was on the bus with this kid from Park Heights. His name was Juan, and he wasn't Spanish though, but he was black. You know how we do with our names and stuff, right? So he was telling me about these girls called the Pussy Pound. I was like, wow, word, telling me what they do and how they do it. I was like, oh, that's dope. I mean, not dope, but because my thing of cool is this. If it's that cool, want it for your mother. If it's that cool, want it for your sister. If it's that cool, want it for your daughter. If it don't pass those 3 levels of cool, then it ain't cool. It ain't cool for your family. It ain't cool. But anyway, back when the streets excited me, that's how I thought. I'm like, that's crazy. So boom. So I filed that away. I went home and went running the streets again, and I was getting incarcerated again. And so I would meet this kid in jail this time that wrote like 3 books. And when I met this kid, I was just talking to him. I just thought I was more intelligent than him. I thought I had done more things. I thought I had saw more things. I just thought I had lived a more interesting life than he did. And that was no knock on him, but that's just how I felt. Because when I ran the streets with dudes that were 10 to 8 years older than me. So I was exposed to a little different things than somebody my age would normally be exposed to. And they were serious dudes. So killers, whatever they was, right? Opportunists, that's what they more so than anything, right? So I said, damn, if this dude could write 3 books, he wrote 3 books, I can at least write 1. But it was just figuring out what he knew that I didn't know. And it was something that he knew that I didn't know, because a book is a journey, man. It's a journey of 1,000 miles, and the journey of 1,000 miles, it started with 1 step. So when you gonna make that step? So I'm talking to him, and we would just talk about writing and all that type of stuff. But come to find out anyway, I was there when he got shot, right on the street. And the dude pulled the gun, but he had changed so much. He was like 14 when that happened, when they shot him, because he was on some New York versus the world shit. And I was just on some fit in, get money stuff, right? I never really hung with the New York dudes where we was hustling at. So when I come back to the town, I come back from New York, and he like, yo, I gotta tell you something. What you gotta tell me? You know what I'm saying? I don't move with him like that. I move by myself. He's like, yo, such and such got shot last night. I'm like, oh my. And when he said such and such is a cool dude. So I know what that meant. That meant you're going to get people who have nothing to do with this drug stuff involved. Now they're involved because you shot a dude that was a good dude. That's what's going to happen. And now they're going to get galvanized and get together, and they're going to run us all up out of here. You're just a gold mine. You spent up a gold mine. So that's all I could think about, right? So he's like, yo, you got something till I get back, till my man get back? I was like, yeah, I'm a drug dealer. I'll give you drugs to sell. But as we walking past this alley, so that corner is that alley, and it's the opening of another alley. As we walking past, we see some of the kids, and they normally be. I'm like, yo, what's up? They give me the, but it's not for me. It's for him. So I'm like, yo, that shit don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? My spidey senses is tingling now. Nigga, they always talk to me. Oh, what up, what up, what up? They always got right for me, but it was about him. So by the time we get to the opening of the next alleyway, the shooter had already made his way around the back of the alley.
Wow.
And he was like, yo, what's up now? I'm like, ah. He got me dead to right. I mean, he got us both dead to right. So I'm just staring down the barrel of a gun like, yo. And, you know, by the grace of God, it wasn't for me. It was for him. So he took off and he shot him, but the word had got back around that it was me because we had the same raincoat on. But long story short, I meet this kid again. He's like 18 now. We in prison together. And he wrote 3 books. So I said to myself, how can I figure out how to write a book? Because nobody going to teach you how to do that. Nobody going to hold your hand through that. This is life, man. Nobody holds your hand through nothing. To me, a lot of things come down to how bad you want it. And for me, that was it. Like, how bad do I want it? I had been a failure up until that point of everything. I wasn't a bad drug dealer. I was a bad drug dealer. I dropped out of school to sell drugs, got arrested numerous times. So, you know, I've been locked up out of state. So I said, yo, I'm going to give this stuff the same energy I gave the drug game and see where it takes me. And I went to the prison library and got a book about writing books. And this book was so old. It smelled like an old house. I still smell it. So I was like, damn. But I took the book and dissected that book. And in that book, there were principles about writing. And I wrote them down. They said the 4 basic elements of any good book is conflict, struggle, drama, and change. I burnt that into my memory banks. And that's over 20-something years I read that.
Can you repeat that again? The
4 basic elements of any good book is conflict, struggle, drama, and change. The change is your character has to come to a cross in the road. If I go this left, this happens. If I go right, that happens. But they have to have it. They don't know what they're going to do. So, but it still was. I knew I didn't speak the King's English, and I knew who I was talking to. So I was a reader in jail. My thing was in jail was like, if you don't know what offends me, how can you offend me? You can't, because you don't know what offends me. But over my book, I knew what offended you, because I was just watching people. So all you know about me is I read books. But through my book, oh, he likes stabbing people. Oh, this guy right here. Okay, if I ever get into it with him, I'm going to get him before he get to a cell to get that strength to stab me. Oh, he like jumping people. If I ever get into it with him, I'm going to get him before he get to his friends. So that was my strategy. All you knew about me was I read books. But over my book, I knew everything. And I would just practice reading comprehension in the middle of the madness. See how strong my focus could become. So anyway, when I looked out, I hadn't wrote my books, but I was a long-time reader, first-time writer. It's like somebody on talk radio when they listen to the talk show all the time, but you know they want to call in and they don't call in. But they finally get through. They get through. Now they talking. Now they on air. They can't believe it. So I was the first time writer, but it was like I had to work on my craft. Like I'm not the writer I was now, but I worked at it. And people want that instant gratification. That don't come with writing, man. Mm-hmm. And when I was in that cell, when I could hear my voice, your voice is what you saying in that book, and I could hear that shit clear as day. Like, yo, I'm on to something. I hear it, and I'm like, damn, am I just feeling myself at first? Because you know, if you spend any amount of time with something this long, you got to be into it. But you could be wrong. But luckily, I was in a place that would tell me, that would correct me if I was wrong. So I was in prison, and I was like the last of my 5 years, right? I think I was doing a parole violation or something like that. But I was in jail, and in jail it's a bunch of negativity. They don't want you to go home. They don't want you to get no mail. They don't want nothing good to happen to you. And if you don't have any talent, they will gladly tell you that too. So basically, still sharp and still. So when I passed that book, it was this kid that used to go to the library with me every day. This kid from Philly named She. So I knew he was a reader, and we would pass each other books. Yo, check this out, check this out. Anything that we thought was good. So I gave him the half of Be More Careful. And he said, the next morning, he came up to my cell, and he said, these exact words were, Shannon, you can get a couple of dollars with this. I said, He thinks this about me, and he's not my friend? Because in jail, you don't have no friends, associates. You make these allegiances and these alliances. That's it. You're hoping that he's going to honor it. When the time comes, I'm going to roll with him if that should come to that too. So there's no friends in there. So once he said that, a light bulb went off in my head. I said, damn, he thinks this about me, and I'm not my friend. So my thing was, I wrote home and I was like, yo, I need a word processor. Got the word processor, never looked back. And I saw Terry Woods. I just saw a market that was open. I saw a lot of people. It was dudes in jail, bro, that could write circles around me, literally. They were that talented. But the one thing they didn't have, and this is the biggest but of all, they didn't have the desire that I had. Yeah. They wanted to talk about writing books. While I was writing a book, I was locking in myself and writing a book, becoming focused. I saw something they didn't see, and I went after it. And so I didn't think it was luck. I prepared for that moment, and I used to sit on my cell, my prison cell, and sign my name over and over and over again, and say to myself, Shannon, you're gonna be famous.
Well, let me ask you this, Let me ask you this, Shannon, because Shanetta Jackson. Everything about Be More Careful. For you to not live in Maryland or in Baltimore, you knew an awful lot about everything. How did you get that much? I mean, even down to the clip that I just saw, that red awning, that's what I envisioned 20 years ago. No lie. Mm-hmm. That area.
You know, like the Sunrise Bar?
The Sunrise Bar, Tequila Sunrise. Yeah. Pennsylvania Avenue, maybe that area kind of rang through my head. So when I saw the clip, I was like, okay, this is creepy. Because it made me feel like if somebody was in my head. So how did you get that?
When you come in the Maryland system, you in DOC, from DOC to Hagerstown, or whatever jail they're going to place you in, you get steeped in this history. The dudes in jail going to tell you the history, who's who and what's what. When I came through in the late 80s, I came through with kingpins, dudes that was kingpins on the streets. They was getting locked up, but they wasn't getting life. They were getting 8 and 10 years, so they were getting to come home. So I was bumping into these dudes, and you would know who they were by how the dudes gravitated to them. You would see a kingpin like Tony Austin, was like 17, came through there, and they was like all over him. Like, I'm like, who is this kid? Mm-hmm. It's a kingpin. He was really doing it. So these dudes, so you get the names like Peanut King, and I was telling my homegirl today on the ride down, I was like, yeah, I know. She said, who, Rudy Williams? I said, yeah, I know who he is because I've heard those names before. These dudes told me, they teach me who their people are. Mm-hmm. It's just like no different than going to school, but I'm going to criminal school. So they tell me, so, you know, I heard about the Odells. I heard about certain places, the Pennsylvania and Gold, you know what I'm saying? So I heard about those things. So it's just my job as an officer to make you to take you there if you've never been there, to bring you there.
Definitely did.
So, I mean, I'm not as strong as a writer. I think I paint pictures very well. I always wanted to draw as a kid, but I could never draw. But with words, I paint pictures. And that's my talent. As a storyteller, I was around a lot of dudes from my block. They would go out to D.C., and when they would come back from these towns or these places that they would hustle at, they would come back with stories. And we was like 14, 15, sitting around the car. It's like a Boy Scout at a campfire. Mm-hmm. We listening to them. This is what we want to be. They're influencing us. They're coming back. They're leaving with nothing. They're coming back with a Benz the next week. Mm-hmm. What you think we want to do? Mm-hmm. So that's how I knew, you know, just being a assistant around. And when I was assistant around Baltimore dudes is the most like a New York dude I've ever met in my life. If a Baltimore dude got love for you, it's bulletproof, bro. I mean, he will go against his own for you. Just long as you're gonna be on front line. He not gonna fight. He not gonna throw the first punch for you, but yo, he not letting nobody bank you. Nah, yo, give him the fair one. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Whatever he gotta do. If he got love for you like that, ain't nothing, yo, bro. He's like a dude you grew up with all your life. And that's real. So in those jails, we make those connections. And I made a connection. So when I made the connection with my man from East Baltimore, 21st and Barkley, that's why I put that in there. Because that's my ode to him. Because if it wasn't for my man Boogaloo Robert Smoot, I wouldn't have came out there. So we exchanged numbers. People thinking that I'm never going to call. Guess what? I called. I got out and I called. Yo, and when I went to that block, it was a lot of real dudes, a lot of murderous dudes that I knew from jail that was on that block. But they didn't fuck with me, though, because of my man Boog. I was running by myself. But because, like I said, Boog had my back, and Boog was dangerous in jail and out of jail, it wasn't doing nothing to me. They didn't care what I was doing. But I knew them too, but because of Boog. It was really because of Boog. Because some places in Baltimore is off limits to New York dudes. It's just that simple. Some places like Pennsylvania Gold is a free for all for anybody. I don't know how it is now, but it's just how it is.
No, that's east,
Now?
right? Is that east? Or
Yeah.
that's west?
Well,
Okay.
no, it's west.
That's west?
Look right there.
Go,
Yeah,
yeah,
west. That's
okay.
west.
Okay.
Yeah, no thank you.
All right. Alvin, you got anything?
Well, so before you got when you got locked up, did you actually see yourself?
Nobody ever accused me of being smart.
No, like, did you actually see yourself being to where you were at the height of your career, like as far as being an author?
My mother said, yo, Shannon, you could have been writing on your life. I said, how I know? As I went somewhere to sit down.
Yeah,
I was
right.
ripping and running. Like, I was like, this is the crack of it. I was like, in them streets, like, head first.
Right.
My mother said, all you want to do is eat, sleep, and run the streets. And that's
Yeah.
what the fuck I did. Sorry about the language.
No. So you were forced to sit down and be able to sit with your own thoughts and be able to put the story
and
together.
I met that kid who inspired me, and I was like, yo, okay, this is another thing about the story. So, Be More Careful wasn't going to be my first book.
Okay.
Never, my third book was going to be my first book. So, one morning I'm in jail, they put the newspapers out. Nobody's clicked the doors. Nobody's out this morning. Like, everybody was at the club that night. So I'm up. I go grab the newspaper and go back in because I don't like nobody reading over my shoulder. Yo, let me get that part, yo. Nah, I don't like that. So in this particular paper this morning, it was Omar Tariq, Fly Girl.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm reading his story, whatever. And it's like, he talking to me, though. It's like he's having, in this cell at that moment, me and him are having a one-on-one conversation. And this is what he says, and this is what I took out of it. He said, women are the biggest buyers of books. I said, what? Sure. He's telling me this is what he do, and this is what I want to do. He gave me the game. And I was smart enough to catch it on the fly and take it and run with it. I took his advice, and every time I see him, I tell him, he said, yo, you gonna tell me that story again? Yeah, bro. So he said, well, I said, but I better get me a strong female character there. So my favorite book was always Black Girl Lost by Donald Goines.
Yeah.
And my sisters used to read these books and be washing dishes and stuff like that, running around the house, you know what I'm saying, but doing their chores. And I'm like, what is that? What's so into that book? Well, I found out when I went to jail. What was so into that book? Because I got into those books, but you can only read so many Donald Goines books. He only got about maybe 8 or 10. Yeah. And that, back then, now he was the market. There was Donald Goines, Iceberg Slim. Then it became Sister Soldier and Terry Woods. So when I looked out there, I saw nobody really doing it. And those books that had a 5-year head start on me. They were my influence. And when I see those books, I kept thinking about my mother. Said, all you do is eat, sleep. I said, yo, I live this life.
Right.
So it's all about me being able to explain it in layman's terms.
So this book is approaching, or is it's on its 20-year anniversary.
20.
Do you feel like this book is something still that can contain to the modern day times for women in general? Like, do you think that this is something that people can read today and still relate to?
Good question, but when I wrote that book from this standpoint, and people never get this right. I thought about, what would I tell my daughters if I had daughters? Mm-hmm. That was my prevailing thought. What would I tell my nieces? Don't use your body to get ahead. Because you're in the streets, you know, what does an old hoe do? What does she do? She been up a dude all her life. What is an old? She has no kind of skills, no kind of employable skills.
Right.
What does she do?
Maybe.
Yeah, but that get old too. Like people can buy food too. So you know, like that was my thing. So you know, like, and these girls was like, using their bodies. Your body, your body's supposed to be like your temple, especially with a woman. So dudes, we get away with doing certain things, but with a woman, it's like, yo, you old news like yesterday's paper. Like, who want a girl that been around, passed around that many times? Like,
Right.
But with New York dudes, this is how they want in Baltimore or in other places. They would take that girl that was down rotten, that the dudes that dogged out, show him a little love, and that girl's gonna ride for him till the fucking wheels fall off, just because he cared. Yeah, he don't gotta hear he's not hearing what because he don't know those dudes, so he don't hear the whispers about her promiscuity. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that shit go. And she gonna love him to death just for that.
Be the best damn housewife of whole
Yep.
baby.
So with the rise of Be More Careful, I read it 20 years ago, knowing, just find out it was 20 years to the, and a lot of people, I guess what their questions are, what is your thoughts on Shanetta Jackson? Like,
Okay.
what do you feel about?
I gotta go for
because I read part 2 last night. I started reading part 2, but when you put those two, or this is the pre-sequel, correct?
prequel, yeah.
Prequel.
So go ahead.
Give us your idea on that.
Well, honestly, I kind of fell in love with Shanetta at the end. Because I killed the orphan in the beginning in the original book, but I went back and changed that. I said, nah, I might want to come back to this.
Come back to
Let
it.
me leave that open. But, I had my idea with her was this. There was this girl I met when I was on parole down here, right? At the parole office. We met on Guilford Avenue. Was it Guilford Avenue?
Yeah.
So that's the old parole. I don't know what the new ones. I don't know if that's still one, but
They all over, but it's there.
I met her. I met her there. She was just so gangster. When gangster excited me, when I was in the streets, she was just so gangster. So we hit it off. But that was short lived. But she was kind of modeled after this girl, right? And she was dark skinned. So I just made one light skin, one dark skin. Wherever I made the one other strong, I made the other weak in the end. One had a father, one didn't.
Yeah.
And so forth and so on. So now, even with Shanetta, it's kind of airy because her name was Shanetta Jackson. I had married this girl named Shamika Jackson. So in so many ways, my life began to mirror that book. You know what I'm saying? And then kind of found out it was a Netta. I did not know that. So that's another story. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, yo, you stole my story and all this type of shit. I'm like, yo, bruh.
Yeah.
I just took it was two groups. It was the Knock 'em Down girls or the Pussy Pound.
Yeah.
And I just chose the Pussy Pound because they were more marketable. I made that whole shit up. From Murphy Holmes, because Murphy Holmes was the baddest thing out here when I was out here.
You made it up, but it's some real.
You know what I'm saying? So I made that whole things up. I just used different, when I needed something about, when I'm thinking about some parental things, what would my mother say in the situation? What would my grandmother say in the situation? When Miss Meg was talking to the young Netta. And that's how I think, what would my father say? And that's how I bounced it off the wall. So when I was hustling, with my mans in them, that was older than me, I used to be around older chicks. And they would talk freely around me because why? They wasn't giving me none. So they would say, and so this is where I get, when they conversate, it's them conversating. Because this is what I'm hearing, but I'm just imagining taking the conversation a little bit deeper. They don't care what they say about me because why? They ain't giving me none.
Right.
I'm a little brother to them. So they talk freely in front of me. And it was just like that. It was just in the game, and you know what I'm saying? That's how the game was.
So, go ahead.
No, I just want to ask. When you started, when you were in prison. I'm sorry. When you started, when you were in prison or jail.
Prison.
And after you realized you wanted to be an author, you wanted to do books, what was your next step from being behind bars to getting this in motion? Like, who helped you? Who did you reach out to?
Nobody. Hold up.
I'm not in jail, but I don't know who to reach out to get mine started. Like, where did you learn?
My common sense exceeds some people's book smarts. I got common sense off the chain.
Okay.
So my thing was this. I used to read album covers as a kid, right? Mm-hmm. And in that album cover, I was like, oh, Michael Jackson ain't write that record? You know, I don't know why I read album covers that I did. Mm-hmm. So I found out who wrote that. Then I would see the address in there. Mm-hmm. Oh, let me try this with books. And there it was. The address was right there. Man, they gave me 20 free envelopes. So I said, yo, somebody gonna talk to my girlfriend, left me, dog bit me. So I just started writing people. What you gonna tell me? No.
Right.
The answer is already no if I don't ask.
Right.
So I just ask. If I ask you, the answer just might be yes. So my friend, no, I can't say my friend, associated while I was in jail, older guy. So he told me one day, he said, yo, sometimes you gotta take a shot in the dark. You might hit something. So I watched him go back to court on a legal technicality and walk out of jail a free man.
Wow.
That was his shot in the dark. This was mine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wrote to every book company I can get my hand. I wrote to Holloway House. I wrote to wherever Sister Soldier was at. But you got to think about this: how many people go to school to write all their life? And here it was. I fell in it. It came to me in my darkest moment of my life. I didn't choose it. It chose me. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote Terry Woods. To my surprise, I get something sliding underneath my door, cell door. It's a letter from Terry Woods.
Wow.
So I talked to her like I wrote a letter, you know what I'm saying? Like I had some sense, you know, because dudes be getting, oh my God, jail have you warped, your mind twisted. Yo, girl, you look good. Let me holler at you. It wasn't, I did that on the street. Right. So I said, yo, I wasn't going to mess this business relationship. I messed business relationship with women on the street, sleeping with them, man. It was just never the same. I couldn't even look the girl in her face no more. It was like, you coming over? But it was more like, you coming over? Whoa, yeah, I'm coming over. So I said, Shannon, you have sex over there. She have sex over there. Y'all do business right here.
Right.
She was an attractive girl. Not to say she wanted me, but I'm just saying. We was in close proximity for a long time. Things happen. You know, so I wrote to Terry Wood. She sent me this letter. She said, send me a self-addressed envelope with your book in it, with your manuscript in it. And I said, I ain't sending you no self-addressed envelope. It's going one way from me to you. And the rest, as they say, is history. And even I tell Terry, I said, yo, you didn't even discover me. I discovered you. You didn't know I existed. I knew you existed. You didn't make me. I was already a finished product when you found me. But don't get me wrong. It became, with me and her, it became like, when am I as good for you as you are for me? Like, and you like, because when she needed something, it was like, yo, Shannon, I need this favor. Sign this. Something I'm supposed to get paid for. Okay, I'm doing it for the team. But when I be like, yo, I need this. Oh, well, your contract says this.
Right.
Ooh.
Oh, that's what we don't.
It became like we became like Kobe and Shaq, bro, and it was sad because we could have did so much together, but she cast a big shadow. You know, she's real egotistical, man, and I'm him too at some point. Like, yo, bro, like I did this, like I ain't see you in that cell with me. Like, you know, people, you know, it's just there's a lot of shit I really can't get into right now because
we get it.
we friends. You know what I'm saying? We I want to be nice. I'm gonna take the high road. So,
Do you see yourselves coming together again? In the
Oh yeah, I can see
future?
her in Detroit. So yo, she been looking out for me.
Yeah.
Looking out for me, lady, give me information that's worth money. So
Okay.
like, you know, I don't know about that because Terry's ego was as big as this fucking room. So
It
like,
deflates him.
you know,
Yeah,
like I
people
can't. I don't walk behind you. I walk next to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She cast a big shadow, man, and so it came to a point where I had to leave that company,
Right.
and I just wanted to know, could I lead the league in scoring?
Right.
But long as she was around, I would never lead the league in scoring because I had to pass the ball to her. She was Shaq and I was Kobe.
Right. Okay. Okay.
And the offense goes to Shaq.
Right.
So Shaq think he could take everybody. Shaq triple team. He's still turning and dunking.
Yeah.
He's not passing that ball back. So the ball was opportunity that came into her office. And so depending on how she felt that day about me, it was like,
Yeah. Fuck.
Shannon, oh, they want you over there. Oh, Shannon, they want you to come book sign them. She would tell me, but depending on how she felt about me that day, she wouldn't tell me. So it was just like, I would be like, yo, like I said, yo, I just wish you was a dude so we could just fight.
Ayo, but do you?
And get it over with. You know,
Right. No, that's
so
true.
You
Right.
respect me,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna respect you, one or the other,
But,
because
yeah.
this is not working. Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? You know, we at each other's necks. Like, yo,
She saw you as a
you
competition.
not,
after
and
a
that's
while.
crazy because you're making all this money. You're making
But
5
after a
times.
while,
Yeah, like when your idols become your rivals.
Yeah.
Bro. I lived that shit.
and that's a hurt feeling.
I lived that. So, you know, when I was around her, I never learned so much what to do. I learned what not to do, how not to treat people. And sometimes what not to do is just as important as what to do.
Yeah.
It could be more important in some cases.
Can't help that.
So I just sat there and watched. Okay, I'm never gonna treat nobody like she treat me like this. And the money was good. Don't get me wrong. And she changed my life. But at the same time, like, didn't I change yours?
That was part of your lesson.
Yo, she had the top. She had the top 2 books in the game at one point in time. True to the game and be more careful. I've been in civil court with this woman.
Let me ask you a question.
Wow.
Be more careful now. She did a great, film with True to the Game and True to the Game 2. We're waiting on anticipating True to the Game 3. Baltimore is anticipating Be More Careful. Do you have? Can we talk about it? Is it something that we can speak on?
Yeah, man. I turned down a couple of deals, man, and I had a Carmelo deal about a year ago. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I thought that was the one that was going to bring me home. That was going to bring it home because I said I got somebody from Baltimore. He gets it. He understands. But he probably was more involved with his career at that point.
Right.
But it was just crazy. That was whole exciting experience just to reach out, and I just hit him like I hit Terry, but I hit him on social media. This time he answered. Crazy.
Yeah.
So you just gotta be persistent. You know what I'm saying? So, boom, boom, boom. So it's something in the works. You know what I'm saying? We do got something. Me and my partner Roberta James, she's over there in the audience. We do got something in the works, and I'm just rewriting the script. I think the best thing somebody told me to do was to rewrite the script, and I appreciate that. I appreciate the no's. It's like I appreciate the yeses, because I just stuck to my guns, bro. I know what I want, and I'm not gonna settle for less than what I want. I don't care what you offer. You're not gonna make me think that this opportunity. You can't even get me to think that way, because I know I'm top 5.
Right.
I just have a question, and I'm just Tone. Is there any way that Baltimore women can put in like a pot on who the actor we think should be Tone? I mean, I just want because I'm gonna say this.
She been heavy on this. She been heavy on this for like last month.
I'm gonna say this because it's like True to the Game. I love the movie, but Quadir wasn't who I thought he should have been.
Yeah, who you pictured him to be?
Yeah, that was
really like
go.
Malcolm Mays. Malcolm Mays is
I don't know
probably
who that is.
he played in Power with
light-skinned kid?
Kanan.
The house on fire, right?
What was it, Kanan? Yeah, when the house was caught on fire.
Yeah, that's the first. It just came out.
Michael who?
Michael, his name is Malcolm Mays.
Malcolm.
That's Quadir.
Michael.
But Tone, I mean, definitely from just my 20 years from not, I haven't read it in 20 years, but, oh man, I probably would say like, what's his name?
Yeah, that's good.
Dark. He played in,
That's that from the Biker Boys, dude.
yes.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah,
His name.
where's he been for the last?
He has
Where's he
both
been
of
for
those
the last?
names.
I mean,
Hold up.
that's just, that's him.
Okay.
That's Quadir.
I don't
was
know
gonna say-
who.
That is Quadir.
Malcolm
You think
Mays.
so?
Yes, that's Quadir. Hands down.
I don't know.
Like Loopy Fiasco.
Nah,
right.
but my thing is, it's like we want to. I mean, Baltimore. That's another thing. Will you use Baltimore actors? Will you
I would
use-
think that was something I definitely would be important for me for
Yeah.
the authenticity.
Yeah.
Like that is that.
Like, yo, come on.
You just can't. Like
Yeah.
you just can't. I mean, people are like Idris Elba just did his thing, but like the Baltimore dude, like the way he walked, the way he talked, like you know what I'm saying. I don't think it's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Like, you eat
I
that.
agree.
Like we'll say, "What's up with that chicken?" Yo, what's up with that chicken? Y'all say, "What's up with that chicken?" Yo,
Yeah. Right.
same shit, different, just different. Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that, especially Black, like he got to give me the chills.
Okay.
He has to be a menace because Black came about. The character Black came about. Like characters have to ring in my head when I write them their names. Say everything has to gel. And I like to give my characters first and last names because I never had a nickname, so I like to give characters first and a nickname, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one day I was on a tier, and this boy was cursing this other boy out. I said, yo, if he ever talked to me like that, we fighting. Because it's all about respect and jail, and if you don't get it, you got to take it.
Yeah.
It's a snowball effect. So if I let him disrespect me, you line up disrespecting the ball, and that nigga just chunked you on. What? So I just got to go through it with you, didn't go through it with the whole tier.
Right.
Right.
So, and this kid name was Black. He was talking real greasy. I was like, got it, Black. And there's a Black in every neighborhood, wherever you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And when I went
Each
to
neighborhood.
Each neighborhood. Yeah.
Multiple ones.
yeah,
Right,
Little
right.
Pitch
big
Black, Johnny
Right.
Black.
What Black you talking about? Black with other Black. Like,
Yeah, so you know, in DC, and I've never been a place I never met a Black,
yeah.
Yeah.
Rough.
including my neighborhood was a Black, David Black, and he was Jet Black. Then you had light he was light. So you know what I'm saying. So yeah, so he has to really be like a sinister guy. Like he has to give me that feel. Like yo, he has to epitomize Baltimore. He has to.
Okay.
Black and Stink, they have to.
I definitely can't think of an actor in Baltimore that could depict that.
It was this kid.
I don't.
It was this kid in this. Did you see that Love? You seen Love?
No.
You haven't seen Love?
Yeah, I seen it.
That was in Baltimore. Shot in Baltimore.
No.
Not in Baltimore.
I didn't watch it.
You didn't see
No,
Love, the
what-
All-Star cast?
What network was it?
My friend produced it, so I had to watch it.
Who's your friend?
Obi
Sean? Who's your friend?
Wait.
Sean?
Dawn, man. She lives in LA.
Oh, I know Don. But wait, Black? What, Love?
It was Love. It was like
I went to the premiere, but they flew me out. This is another time when I thought I had a deal. I went to
like a couple.
what's that music festival out there? I mean, what's
I don't know.
that? What you call it? Ain't no couple years ago. It was about 5-10
Not
years
the
ago.
Sunset.
Sunset,
Was it
Sundance,
yeah,
Sundance.
Wait, was Common in that?
Yeah, Common.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah, okay.
yeah,
I was
I
like, wait,
have to
I know
watch it.
Don. I was like, wait.
So it's
okay,
this
yeah,
kid
yeah.
in there when Common go back to the house and this kid gets off the step. He's like, yo, what you doing around here, yo?
Yeah.
That kid, I don't know who that kid name
That
is.
was a long time ago.
Yeah,
You
that was
gotta
a
watch it
minute.
again.
That was like, like 8-9 years ago. What was that?
That was a long time ago.
Okay, yeah, I was like,
2012.
yeah, I was like, yeah, it's like 8 years
It
ago.
didn't seem
Okay.
like it was that long.
It was-
Because you know
yeah.
who else was in there? That kid from Power, Michael Rainey Jr. And I met him, he was a baby.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was in that joint too. Common was teaching him how to, that was like his little brother or some shit like that.
Yeah, that was a big deal. That's when Charles Dutton was in that. He was,
Charles Dutton,
yeah, he was,
everybody was in it. It was a
yeah, that
whole
was a whole
cast.
thing.
Yo.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that now. Yeah. So, do you foresee that Be More Careful could be something like Love or even bigger, with the
I
right
think
cast?
I think technology has caught up. I play with cameras a little bit. Technology
Yeah.
has caught up with Hollywood. So you definitely can make a film, but people will have you believe you can only make it for XYZ, and that's not necessarily
Oh, I
true
know.
no more. 100,000 or some shit like that. It was out of reach, but especially it's made so many cameras,
Yeah.
advances, and 4K, 6K, chips and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's definitely possible, man. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to do it like that. I didn't want nobody to tell my story. I
Right.
want to tell my own story.
You want it in the major movies or
It doesn't matter. That don't really matter to me anymore,
Okay.
man. Because sometimes fame and money don't go together.
Not at all.
You got rich rappers and you got famous rappers, so
Right.
that doesn't
But
matter.
I-
Now everybody's streaming now anyway, so
I mean, this book is all over the world. I just know that it definitely needs to be. It was just a great book. I read it 20 years ago on the way to Florida, which was like a long hour drive, but it kept me interested. So, I mean, everybody, if you haven't got this book, definitely go out and get it now. And it's going to keep you page turning. It's a page turner.
yeah. But like reading it now, I be like, I would have did this differently. So it's like me
Right.
watching the fight, like, oh, no,
your
got
worst
you,
critic.
no,
Everybody
Yeah,
you know what I'm
you know
saying?
your
Like,
worst
yo,
critic.
you read
Everybody
that, yo,
is
it
like
was
that.
just so I had to reread it again just to brush up on it to write the script.
Okay.
So it's like, damn, I should have did that. But at that moment, man, like I didn't know nothing, man. I was dropped out of school, you know what I'm saying? And here I am writing. Here I am dominating the college-dominated profession.
Right.
I got Essence magazines where I'm number 1, Sister Socha number 2, Terry Woods number 3, or whatever the race. I'm like, damn, man, like yo, I read these chicks' books when I was in jail, and just like even something to meet. I was just so excited when I first got into publishing, like to meet some people. But there was more people excited to meet me. But I was like, damn, like you're not as friendly as I thought you were.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who was cool though with me? God bless his soul. Eric Jerome Dickey was a nice guy, nice man. A lot of these dudes is jerks. I'd be like, I want to punch you in your face. But you can't take that street stuff and bring it to that. You're gonna lose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when I came out, there was that environment where yo, you offend me, we fight.
Yeah.
And here I was in publishing, they passing you bad contracts. They want you to sign it, and you catch it, and you like, man, if I would have signed that, I'd have been all. They get you, Shannon. There's no more big money for you. They get you, and this is the same thing with this movie thing. Like they want to give you what they want to give you, and give you the peanuts, bro. This is more than a book to me. This is my life. Like I risked my life to get some of this knowledge I got firsthand. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this is more, it's more than that to me, man. And, I lived it, and I slept with this for 9 months. This book gave me headaches. I woke up like, damn, I'm going to get out of this, realistically. Because some authors, they just get their characters out. I'm like, how the fuck you do that, man? I never wanted it to be like that because you ain't giving it no thought. You just want to rush. And you gotta be you gotta slow up the most when you at the end of your book, bro, because it's the most time. You wanna. I can remember this girl. She was like, yo, you rushed the end of that book. I was like, how the fuck she know? She know.
The end of Be More Careful?
No, another
Bad
book.
Girl.
I can't tell you.
Okay.
But she knew though.
fix
But
the
you know,
ending first.
it's some people. It's some people that you know what I'm saying that gonna know your work better than you. That live it. Like yo,
yeah.
I was getting fan mail, and me and my man would be in my. I was like, yo, read this, yo, read this. And the girl was like, she was like low down, dirty shame. Like, girl, she thought I was really near her. Like, girl, that's fucked up. What you did to Black? He gonna get you. I was like, yo, me and my friend was in the car crying. Like, yo, this shit crazy, right? It'd be crazy. It's just people who was obsessed with that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I get it. I get it though.
What advice would you give to an author, an up-and-coming author that is maybe in jail or prison that is thinking about making that step?
You gotta write the story that you want to read. That's what I did. I wrote the story that I wanted to read. You know what I'm saying? And but you also gotta take advice. Like dudes don't take constructive criticism no more. I was in jail. You know, everything was in all peaches and cream. Would Be More Careful. And I showed this kid my book when it was hand notes in the hard third grade black and white book.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what this kid said to me? At that moment, he could have crushed me. But at that moment, he took mercy on me. He said, Shannon, get you a thesaurus and a dictionary. It's only a couple times in my life that I took advice and not looked back. I took it, didn't question him, didn't ask him why he said what he said. Because what's understood don't have to be said. I said, I got it. Okay. Took it, never looked back. Took it and ran with it. Now, dudes, they want to argue with you about their well, you know, I meant to do, but you didn't do it, though, dogs.
Right.
Like, yo, what you need me for? I hate people that come to me and be like, yo, you know, want me to lend my name to them. You know what I'm saying? But this is bullshit. Like, I'm going to tell you, like, because I'm not co-sign. I'm not a yes man. I'm not going to go along. You're not taking me down with you, bro. I don't care how much I like you personally. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? So, the advice I would say, man, just keep rewrite it. Be More Careful just wasn't one right. It was rewritten. You know what I'm saying? I always like to say, though, I get my money rewriting, bro. Fixing my mistakes. I like to catch my own mistakes before you catch them. So that's what I would say, man.
I have a question, going back to the film, and that's a little bit of my background. With the movie...
Don't say, yeah. I heard. So I've heard.
a little bit. But with the movie... I don't even know the name of it. The 12 O'Clock Boys movie that Will Smith produced. A lot of people gave a lot of flack to that because people from Pennsylvania came out and everything, and they felt like it wasn't authentic to what Baltimore. Just the crew, the production company. Will Smith himself and Jada, their production company, Overbrook, is the ones that back that production company. A lot of people might feel like, you know, you coming from New York, it's not authentic enough for Baltimore. What would you say to the people out there that feel like, oh, you're not from Baltimore, so you can't tell a Baltimore story?
Well, who did it then? Years before I came out, who did it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Who did it? Like, you know, who authorizes those such things? Like, you know what I'm saying? Who are they to kill my dream?
What is
Nobody
amazing?
killed anybody's dream.
I honestly didn't know.
No one knew.
No, and one thing, when you read the story, you are connected to it. There was a pussy pound. There was.
Right.
If I never said I wasn't from Baltimore, you would have
You wouldn't know.
You never know.
So
You
the-
never know.
the
That's
thing
what's
is,
so
if I
special
would've ran
about
with
it.
that,
Right. So,
that part.
Yeah.
you know, so should people be concerned that, hey, you're trying to speak for the women of Baltimore during that time period? Or is
No,
that
I
something
mean,
that you feel like you're true to?
According to themselves, they have spoken.
Good answer.
I've never heard anybody complain.
Exactly. So,
But
like,
see, again, we didn't know until this is his first interview. But again, it's
I don't even
amazing.
think that was a thought.
I never
when
got
we
Well,
were in that book.
See, the thing is now, because word spreads a lot easier than it did 20 years ago.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So people...
But when I first did Be More Careful, internet just started up, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I used to be mad at bad reviews. Like, yo, like, shit used to hurt me to my heart, bro. I was really taken to offensive
Yeah.
because I'm like, damn, man. Hey, I could have been in the street doing this, and this is not literature. This is trash. But I know I said to myself, oh, you bought the book, so you can have your opinion.
That's right.
You entitled to
Binary.
but I'm going to get that. I'm sure I'm
that's a
going to
part
get
of
that.
growth
Like, yo, he's not from here, but get that.
It's art.
I get that part, bro. But I mean, like,
Everybody won't.
You had your shot. Why you didn't take your shot? Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There was a girl who said I stole her book. She said, I was like, girl, let me tell you something. I was locked up for 5 years. I don't even know you. What are you talking about? You might have sent it to Terry, but I wasn't over there.
I think in that time frame, again, with certain, I've communicated with a lot of girls in the that could relate to the book. I mean, I could relate to Netta's character a lot. I could relate to a lot of the different things that were going in there. So a lot of people felt like we were like a character in the book or something. Like somehow, it was just a great book. So me personally, I did not know. I think it was set the way it was supposed to be set. You weren't supposed to be from here. How you wrote it, I love every bit of the book. We can go from there. I do want to talk about Bad Girls, which is my next favorite book.
Mine too.
Yes, Bad Girls is my like when I came home from Florida in 2001, my only question was, who is Shannon Holmes? And we didn't have internet back then or like cell phones. You know, like when I was on the beach reading, I didn't have to worry about what I do now. It's like I'm like constantly moving my arm because I'm on my cell phone. So I had time to relax. But Bad Girls was like Philly based, correct? If I'm going back to my memory.
Yeah, Philly based.
And
at that time, I had never been to Philly either when I wrote that.
Dang.
And that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to get
It's
to.
impressive.
Is that it's impressive. Like when I read Bad Girls, I actually lived in Philly, and I had to live vicariously through the book because we've spoke about it. I've been to Florida when I was 21 years old. Right. I went to Florida when I was 42 years old, and then I've never really went anywhere else. So your books are like an oasis. Like you just kind of like sit there and just listen, and you would never know that you didn't live in Philly, that you didn't live in Baltimore.
Well, I was locked up, and once again, when I wrote that book, I was locked up. When I wrote Be More Careful, I was locked up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So, and when I was in Pennsylvania, I was locked up around Philly dudes, and the inspiration for that book was everybody that came on every new inmate that came into the prison, and every week they had a bunch of new inmates coming up there, came with a story about strippers.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'm going to write me a story. I had never been to the strip club yet.
In Philly?
I got out. Anywhere.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know what I was, like 25 at that time. I had never been, wasn't a thing as big as it is right now. It wasn't, especially you bringing girls to a strip club. That was some dude stuff, some backdoor type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I said, I'm going to go to the strip club. So this one girl, she just sat me down. She gave me the game, and I took it and ran with it. Yeah. She gave me the
blueprint.
When I went to the strip club, it was just an undercover for prostitution.
Yeah.
After this club, you see the cars lining up, picking up the girls that they was with. So, I know I'm not the cutest motherfucker in the club. I know that. You know what I'm saying? And, but they'll make you feel that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I knew if I gave that girl money, if I took that lap dance or whatever else she was offering, I knew she would respect me. So I just come in there, give her the money. Nah, I'm good. No, You know what I'm saying? Because I knew after that it had been, I'm in the trick. Mm-hmm. I would have never got the information I got out of her. Mm-hmm. Right. So,
how long did it take you to write Bad Girls?
I don't know. I started in the middle of Be More Careful. I started to write the first chapter. Like, all my first chapters, like, I try to, like, grab you with my first chapters. That's my calling card. You know what I'm saying? I like to go back and tell the backstories. What makes these people, why? I keep asking whys. Why? And if I ask myself enough whys, I have a story. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I keep asking those whys and answering those whys. Because many times we see people, we walk past in the street, yo, look at this mother, oh, look at that, she's a hoe. But we don't know why. So I try to explore that why, and I love telling black stories. I love this at the back. What brought Netta to that point that she had to do what she had to do. Well, her mother had AIDS, you know what I'm saying? She had no father, she had to fend for herself, and that's a big,
So what is Be More Careful your biggest selling book? That's the biggest one? And I mean, like I said, it is a classic. Everybody that I've encountered to tell them that you were coming down have read the book. My mother-in-law, Tony, I used to read it on the way to work every day. So it is a classic in Baltimore and all over. How do you go from the Be More Careful to Bad Girls to what are you writing something now?
I still got my autobiography on hold. I got like a couple chapters, a lot of chapters in, you know what I'm saying? If I wanted to drop it in a month, I could, but I don't know. I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm always writing. I do my best writing when I ain't writing. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking.
So, do you think if you never did time, you wouldn't be an author?
I don't know what I would be, but I know a lot of people say I wouldn't change that though, because to change one thing might be to change everything. Just one thing. Mm-hmm. To change a friend. I'm a sum of all my friends I've been around, man. But I wouldn't. But look, I come from military background. My father was in the military. My brothers was in the military. My brother was a cop. My other brother was a CEO. My father worked for the city. I had a city job at 16 I was supposed to have. And I took at 16. At 19 they called me. Guess where I was at? Hagerstown. I still hear the hurt in my mother's voice. Yo, the city called here for you today. She thought it was over for me. She thought it was finished. I can remember my uncle saying, yo, I thought you would make it. Yeah, I did make it. Just a whole lot later than y'all thought. But the most important thing is I follow my dream. I follow my heart. I ain't had nobody tell me, yo, you can't do this. They tried to. They laughed at me in jail. They said, yo, we're going to have a book signing right over this garbage can, and we're going to throw it in that garbage can. They laughed at me. Yo, you don't know how hurt I was. I'm a cancer. I'm emotional.
But you kept going.
But I couldn't beat all these dudes. I couldn't beat all of them. I could afford them all, but I couldn't beat all of them. What I'm going to be, it's up to me and God. It's not up to me and no man. You're not telling me what I'm going to do or what I'm going to be.
Well, that's a good question. Have you ever seen anybody that doubted you? Your book, Be More Careful.
I've seen them all in jail. Yeah,
really?
when I got signed in jail. I got an advance in jail. They believed me then.
Right.
Oh,
I was
wow.
laughing all the way to the bank thinking about them. Laughing all the way to the bank depositing the checks. Boop. Yeah, y'all said I wasn't, huh? Then they all writing a book. My man, I picked my man up from jail. He was like, yo, you got the whole jail writing books. I'm like, yeah, I know, get in. I know, they didn't believe me when I was doing it, but yo, I think I got to get ready to get up out of here because I got to make this what you call it.
Okay.
I got this.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end today.
Yeah, but I'm going to come back for I want the whole shindig. I want the Mama Jones treatment. You know what I'm saying? I'm jealous.
Oh, yeah, we got to have a book club.
It was just like a moment thing. I was like, oh, yeah. She's like, yo, I'm just starting my radio shit. I said, yo, oh, shit. My homegirl just asked me to come. I said, I'm going to be down there, yo. So we just put it together like that. So
Nice.
I wanted to give her, like, you know, I wanted to be her first show. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it so much. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, I hope my children ain't bother y'all, but.
No,
I got emotional through that story sometimes, though. Because it's my story, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can remember those things. Like, I got a good memory. Sometimes it'd be the death of me, man. I'd be like, I just can't. Nah, girl, I can't forgive you for that. I just can't. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, remember you ain't want me? Like, no. So.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Very much, very much.
Thank you.
That was inspiring.
So any last advice, last words you want to give? How can people find you? Where can they see you? How can they reach you?
On Instagram, I'm Shannon Holmes. Yo, I remember I didn't want to be me, bro. I'm me now.
Yeah.
Yo, the police was looking for me. Like, y'all can just stop. I'm going to college. I was like, yo, shit, they ain't not going to stop looking for you, Shannon. So, you know, like, yeah, I'm Shannon Holmes everywhere. I used to hate my name. Now I love my name because you might know a Shannon and you might know a Holmes, but you do not know a Shannon Holmes. I'm the only one you know. So I used to hate, you know what I mean? Fights I had over my name. So that's where you can find me at Instagram, Shannon Holmes Media, Shannon Holmes. You know, I answer people. Nothing crazy. I don't walk on water, nothing like that. Some people, they get caught up in that, but I ain't big on that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.